welcome to Formulas in 10 Minutes. Today we are going to talk about the rambling powder or the Bulerum Tanquei powder. Okay, so this formula in Chinese calls Xiao Yao San, and some people attribute this formula to Chan Jingyue. And actually this formula is not from Chan Jingyue, and it comes from a Chinese book formula that calls Tai Ping Hui Ming He Ji Ju Fang. Okay, is the earliest compilation of formulas that was made for Chinese medicine 800 years ago. The first thing we are going to talk about this formula is about the use and the function of this formula. So it's really easy. The use for this formula is to smooth the liver and dispel the stagnation. Okay, so Qi is stagnation, and the second thing is going to nourish the blood and tonify the spleen. So what I mean with that, okay, so this formula is it's really important to understand really good the theory of the 5 elements. Okay, so here we are going to talk about wood and earth. Okay, so in this case it's going to be an excess of wood and a deficiency of earth. Okay, so wood attacking the earth. Okay, so that's what we are seeing here. Maybe here the color green, you're not going to be able to see it, but okay, so here we have green and green. Okay, so in this case this formula is going to be for a stagnation of liver causing blood deficiency and a deficiency of spleen also. Okay, so it means that there is too much wood and is attacking the earth. So the best way to represent this is like you can see at the picture here. So we have a lot of herbs, a lot of trees, and because there is too many of them, they are actually they are overwhelming the earth. Okay, so they are attacking the earth. So in this case, the earth is not going to have enough nutrients, and then it's going to get weak. Okay, so that's what it means with this formula. Okay, so in this case, we have to give a really fast review to the functions of the liver and the spleen, the main functions. So if you remember, the main function of the spleen, here in yellow color, is to transform and transport the food qi. Okay, and the second thing, it controls the blood. So it controls that the blood actually goes through your body and nourish all the other organs. Okay, so remember that is really important. And the second thing, the liver, it does kind of like the same thing but with the qi. Okay, so it's going to smooth and make the qi flow through your body, and also the same to nourish the organs. So we are going to have here there a relation between yin and yang. Okay, so the qi being yang and the blood being qi, but remember, and the blood being yin. Okay, but remember, blood and qi are the same thing. Okay, they're the same origin. The only difference here is just a relation between yin and yang. Okay, one you can see, the other one you cannot see, and also the function. Okay, one nourish and the other one gives energy. You know, one is active, the other one is more inactive. So it's a relation between yin and yang, and that's what we're doing in this formula. We are only tonifying the yin yang. And actually this formula is inside the category of harmonizing formulas. Okay, that's also really important. Harmonizing formulas, and yeah, we are harmonizing wood and earth. Okay, and the second thing, it stores the blood. So in this case, control blood and store the blood. So about the tongue, it's a really similar tongue from the Xiao Chai Hu Tang formula. Okay, so in this case, sides of the tongue a little bit red. Okay, so there is nothing really special in the tongue. Usually we have a white coating, sometimes a yellow coating if there is a heat in the liver. Okay, and then the pulse here is really important. Okay, so we are going to have a wiry and empty or deficiency pulse. So what it means that we are going to see both sides of the hand. So we are going to check the second position of the hand. Okay, so in the left side, in the second position, we have the liver. Okay, so we are going to make sure that in that position the person is going to have a wiry pulse. Okay, so we are going to go there. If it has a wiry pulse, it means that there is an stagnation of liver. Yeah, and then we are going to check the second pulse that is on the right hand, the same second position. And then in the spleen, usually for this kind of patients, you are going to have a weak pulse. Okay, or I mean, you can compare both hands. Okay, so maybe here is going to be strong and here is going to be weaker, or it's going to be actually it's going to be really obvious. You know, you are going to feel that there is a weakness. Okay, and that pulse is going to feel different. It's going to be weak. It's going to feel like without strong. So that kind of pulse is an empty deficiency pulse. Okay, but this is really important for this formula because here, remember, is wood attacking the earth. So there is an excess of wood in the left side, and there is an deficiency of spleen or earth in the other side. For the main things we can treat here, so remember, liver stagnation with deficiency of blood and spleen weaknesses. So it's the thing we are talking about. So in this case, the things when you have excess of liver or excess of wood, so we have five things. Okay, the first thing, pain in the costal region. Okay, irritability. Okay, bitter taste of the mouth, blurry vision. Remember the eyes, the liver opening the eyes, and the fifth thing is the wiry pulse. Okay, and for the spleen, we have also, like for example, we have poor appetite, weaknesses. The patient doesn't feel rested, like for example, the patient is asleep, but he feels weak all the day and feels bad. And also like nausea, okay, it can have some nausea. And remember the other pulse, that is the deficiency pulse. And this formula is also really good for gynecological problems, okay? It's a really common formula. So for any type of menstrual irregularities, okay? So for menstrual period irregularities, so it's a really good formula, but you have to make sure that there is a chi stagnation. If there is chi stagnation of the liver, remember left side, second position liver. If you feel there is a wiry pulse, for sure they have. Okay, so usually for this kind of stagnation, also women tend to have a breast that it feels tender and swollen. And this also is, there are symptoms of stagnation. Okay, so you can actually use this formula. It's a really good formula for menstrual period regulations, and yeah, you can try it. Okay, in this case, I divided the formula into two groups, so it's really easy. We have 8 herbs. So remember, here we have to balance the yin yang. We balance the wood and the earth. So in this case, the formulas here on the app, these 4 herbs we have here up are for the spleen. Okay, and the ones down that I think you will see them in brown color are for the earth, for the wood, sorry, for the wood or the liver. Okay, so we have 4 for the spleen, 4 for the liver. Okay, so really easy. We have licant root, we have Indian bread, ginger, sometimes fried ginger, and then we have baitru, okay, or white tracticals rhizome. Sorry for the pronunciation. Then for the green ones, the main formula here, the main herbs here is blueperum, chaihu, and the Chinese angelica root. Okay, these 2 herbs are going to help us to smooth the liver and to tonify the blood. Okay, then we also have like field mint, normal mint, buohe, and baitru. Okay, white peony root. So about the prescription explanation, so chaihu smooth the liver and dispel the stagnation. So this is a really important formula, so it will help to smooth the liver. Okay, remember in this case we use only 9 grams. Okay, not as much as the other formulas we used before. In the other formula we studied, Xiao Chai Hutang, we use 24 grams. Okay, in this case we are going to use only 4 grams, because in this case we want to smooth the liver, so it's really important to know how many grams you're using. Okay, in this case we have Tan Kui and Xiao Yao, so they will nourish and fortify the blood. Okay, and also will help to smooth the liver. Then we have Gansao, Baitru, and Fuling. Okay, the Indian bread. They are going to tonify the spleen. Okay, tonify the chi, tonify the spleen. Then we have here Buohe, that is going to help us to disperse the liver chi, and also sometimes when you have hot pathogens. So if the patient presents more hot symptoms, for example red eyes or dryness on the mouth, you can use a little bit more of Buohe. Okay. And the last one is the formula Shenjiang, okay, or ginger, and it's going to help us to regulate. Okay, it's going to help us to warm temperature and harmonize the middle burner. The characteristics of this formula, so remember, smooth the liver, tonify the spleen, and tonify the blood. So we are talking about here spleen and liver. Okay, so right now we are going to go to other symptoms. So if there is a more serious liver stagnation, in this case we are going to add 3 herbs. Okay, the first one called Xiangfu, the second one is called Yujin. I will leave the name of the herbs on the description, and the last one is Chenpi, that is the skin of the tangerine. Okay, so these 3 herbs are really good for disperse the chi. So in this case what it means, like more stagnation, chi stagnation. So if the patient feels pain in the coastal region, usually it's pain in the coastal region for a woman, maybe a tender breast, that actually is more liver chi stagnation. So if the patient has more chi stagnation, you can use these 3 herbs. Second thing, in this case we are going to use another formula that it calls Rambling Plus Powder. So the formula we are studying right now calls the Rambling Powder, but this one is the Plus Powder. So in this case, we are going to add 2 herbs. In this case, if the patient has liver stagnation, transforming into fire. So here the theory of the 5 elements. Wood turns into fire. Okay, so the wood kind of like creates the fire. So in this case, the stagnation and the excess of wood will create fire. Okay, so if this patient presents more symptoms of irritability, red eyes, bitter mouth, like dryness, and all these hot symptoms, we are going to use 2 herbs. One called dampi, remember the description, and chits. Okay, so this will actually release the heat and cool the blood. Then the last one, if there is more serious blood deficiency. Okay, so here usually this is really good for patients that have anemia. Okay, for blood deficiency patients, we are going to use the black rambling powder. So in this case also it's another formula. In this case we add 1 more herb from the 8 herbs we study. So the black rambling powder is going to have especially Shu Di Huang. Okay, so this is going to tonify the blood. But if there is a blood deficiency and there is internal heat, we are going to use Sheng Di Huang, but it's the same herb. Okay, it's the same herb. One is cooked, what the other one is not. And for a more serious spleen deficiency, we are going to use Dangshen. Okay, Dangshen is it's another it's kind of like from the family of the ginseng, and this one is especially to tonify the spleen. Okay, so if the patient is weak and doesn't want to eat and stuff like that, we can use this one. Okay, acupuncture points. In this case, remember, we on this formula we want to achieve 3 things. Okay, tonify the spleen, the blood, and then kind of like smooth the liver qi. Okay, kind of like dry that expel from the body. So the 3 things. Okay, so for the liver stagnation, we are going to use Taichung, Qi-Men. Okay, especially these 2 points, Taichung and Qi-Men. So if there is heat of liver, okay, so if this is accompanied with some symptoms of liver turning into heat, okay, so this excess turning into heat, we are going to add Zulin Qi, okay, gallbladder 41, and Chu Chi, okay, and then also like for the blood. So in this case, for tonify the blood, really easy, we are going to use Xue Hai for the spleen 10, okay, Tai Bai, spleen 3. And well, this one not really. And then for the spleen function, we are going to use Sanin Jiao. We are going to use DG, and this one is also going to help us also for gynecological problems, pain, and related things related with dysmenorrhea. Okay, and Tianshu, Okay, so these 3 points for the spleen. Okay, 4 points for the liver, and 2 points for the blood. And finally, the clinical use for this formula. So first thing, as we just study, is good to smooth the liver, tonify the spleen, and it's a common formula for gynecological practice. I told you it's especially good on the regulation of menstrual function, but remember to check the pulse of the patient before giving this formula. Okay, so if the patient has Qi stagnation, use this formula and for sure you will get really good results. Okay, and the second thing, we can use this formula for chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis of the liver, stomach ulcers, okay, chronic gastritis, premenstrual syndromes, hyperplasia, menopause symptoms. Okay, so everything, also even depression. Okay, so if you have patients that have liver stagnation and spleen deficiency, this is the formula you have to use. Finally, I want to give you thanks for watching this video. We will continue posting videos every week about different formulas and about different topics related to Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Thank you very much. You can visit us on isham.org, or you can send us an email if you want to know more about the videos. Thank you very much.